Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the journey ahead. I like to, in my moments of now, from time to time, reflect upon where I'm headed. Where am I going with this life of mine? What needs to change? What am I evolving about? What am I evolving? What topics do I need to evolve on? Some topics I've looked at this week for the beneficence of my own evolution is an aggressive desire to overgive. I've lived my life these 47 years with an awareness that at the end, I don't want to feel that I owe anyone anything, and I don't. But there's a component of me wanting to take my last breath, knowing I gave it and everyone my all to the best of my ability. In that vein, it's very comfortable for me to give. It's not comfortable for me to receive support, to receive anything, really. I don't. So for me, that may sound like a like I'm so great I'm such a giver. What a tremendous giver I am. That may sound like a self-complimenting thing, but it's out of balance, and wellness and health and wholeness come from balance. So part of my journey ahead is considering and figuring out, how can I receive my friends' love more? How can I receive my family's love more? How can I be willing to receive the vital, necessary support that will be required for Heather to create a brick and mortar magical college? It's not something that, even though I've lived my life a lot alone and have done it on my own and have gotten myself out of many darkened armpits of existence, this part of the journey is going to require more interaction with others, and support is going to be necessary. So how can I get Heather to be willing to receive such that she might evolve? Part of the journey ahead, not only for my life, but for your life and for every lifetime, is any human's life out there is trial and tribulation, challenge. We act like, as humans, often that what we want is to just be happy all the time. I just want to be happy. But I teach often in my classes and advocate, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to just be like, you would get so bored. We need catharsis. We actually enjoy and are given an emotional range because we enjoy the changes that occur. That joy that you feel after a period of loss and sorrow often comes with gratitude and other emotions that are richer and deeper. So part of my journey ahead is considering how can I be more at peace with the fact that challenge, trial, tribulation, problem is always going to be around the bend in a dualistic realm. It's part of Earth School. I don't intend on any level, because I believe in the magnitude and power of consciousness, to live my life as though, let's all wait for the next problem. Let's focus on problems. It's not that. However, I don't want to be in a state of resistance to what is possible. Many jobs don't calculate for every single potential aspect of the job potentially failing. Now the printer isn't working. Now that tree branch fell down outside and we got to get the landscaper out here. Part and parcel of running a business, of being a beloved, of being a friend, of being a two-legged, is facing challenge. And it's the pressure that makes the diamond. It's the mud that blooms the lotus. One of the ways that we really developed our content of character is through trial, tribulation, challenge. So how can Heather Feather, who's gone through 47 years of an overwhelming amount of trial and tribulation, how can I shift more to be at peace with some concepts like more challenges are going to flush up in the field? It's not the end of the world when it happens. And I don't have to be super dramatic about it. Just like, we are having a challenge. Great. I've been given the opportunity to find a solution. Good thing I am great at solutions, and good thing I'm so creative. So let's find a creative solution to this today. So there's, really challenge is opportunity. It's where we start to really meet who we be in relationship to the love that we are in relationship to this issue, this problem, So part of my journey ahead is considering how I'm going to make peace with these aspects of my life that will flush up in the field. I'm not going to, from 47 until death, let's say I live to be 122, I'm not going to be issue free. All right. So I spent a lot of time considering my death, meditating on my dead body, meditating on being old. I've wanted to be an old person since I was very young. I've always wanted to be an elder. I'm just like, I can't wait to be old. And it's hilarious because my energy goes very fast. I'm a double fire elemental. My energy goes very fast. And I think it's going to be hilarious when I'm not able to go as fast. I think maybe I just love the cosmic joke of it. This dope shirt that I'm wearing, offerings to the god of speed, boop, 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 comes from Ratchet Wretched Threads. So that's RATCHETS, WRETCHED, Ratchet's Wretched Threads. Dope business owner that I had the pleasure of meeting here in Albuquerque. She's super cool, and her merch is super cool. So definitely check that out. But, I got this shirt, aside from it being really cool and her being a cool business owner I wanted to support, because Heather has a tendency to speed. Baby, I was built for speed. Like, every time I hear that line, I'm like, 100%, honey, 100%. I've probably been a race car driver in the past 10 lifetimes. And it's not great, and it's not the safest, So part of my journey ahead, even though it's really difficult for me, because something about my mother dying in a car accident at the age of 24 caused me to feel really rebellious about driving. It made me really mad because my mom was a pretty safe driver, and it's like, oh, okay, she's a safe driver, but you can kill her that way anyhow. So I just became really rebellious, a lot of times unconsciously, around the way that I drive. And I noticed to this day, Heather's got a lead foot, everybody. I mean, granted, everyone in Dallas is going 90 or you're being a slowpoke on the highway, and that's where I'm from, but it's not safe, right? And so part of my evolution, part of my journey ahead is to slow down, not just on the road, but even in the concept of partnering with somebody or choosing friends or choosing my tribe or choosing my circle. I've always been very open. I've always been very opted in, very willing, and I'm learning. If you're trying to build a garden called your life, the garden of your mind, the garden of your body, the garden of your experience, and you invite everyone into the garden, and some of the people that come in trample the garden, it's extremely unproductive to what you're trying to build. And it's been difficult for me. As somebody on the shamanic path, I believe that I belong to the world and the world belongs to me. And although that remains true, there are certain people that do not belong in the direct garden of my life because they tend to trample the garden and dig up the things I'm planting. So instead, there are certain entities that I think of, bless, pray for, outside of the garden of my experience, right? And so part of my journey ahead is slowing down. I'm not just going to fools rush in, has some wisdom in it, I will say the good thing that comes from rushing in and being an adventurer and being always open and willing to dive in is that it's helped me to evolve really quickly because I'm not just pensively hemming and hawing and not jumping into opportunity. I'm a great risk taker. I was remembering today one of my favorite experiences. My friend Tam in Sedona was like, hey, you want to come camp? And I'm like, 100%, and it'd be right there, I'm given opportunity and I leap at it. And that night, the weather was so perfect, I was able to take my head out of my tent and not only reset my circadian rhythm to the earth, sacred Mother Earth's rhythm, but to stare and gaze upon these beautiful stars. And it's because I'm willing to jump into adventure and risk that I have these amazing experiences. And when you're a natural risk taker and you're a natural adventurer, part of your medicine may be to carefully consider, to weigh, to go, maybe my journey ahead needs more careful weighing before I opt in, because there are many things Heather's needed to cycle away from, because it's like, oh, this is extremely dysfunctional and unhealthy, and I'm not doing that. I'm working on being my healed self. And I've said this before, and I want to say it again because it's been stewing in my consciousness, that part of the journey ahead is understanding that confidence, self-esteem, healing, There are many, many concepts that we as humans act like are a thing that you either have or do not have. And although that context may be true in the moment of now, the fact is those journeys are not destinations. Self-esteem is not a destination. It's not a place you get and you just stand at that pinnacle for the rest of your life. I have confidence and self-esteem. Because your moods are variant, because your best changes every day, because 100 for me today is a different type of 100 7 weeks from now, right? And because of that, the way I hold and frame myself based on my experiences in the world, based on the way I'm feeding my body, based on the way I'm meeting my needs, based on the way that I'm honoring the desires that I have to build a specific life, all of those factors affect confidence and self-esteem on a daily basis. And healing is the same. We act as if I can get enough psychotherapy, if I can get enough, medicine, if I can get enough, then I'll be healed. And part of my journey ahead is to no longer have a trajectory towards a target that is a moving target. That is a moving target. It's going to constantly move. It's not stationary. There is no being healed forever, right? Healing is a process, and part of healing is integrating the trials, the tribulations, the traumas, the sufferings, the pains we've had to endure. And so we may have a moment, we may have several moments, we may have several years, we may have half a life where predominantly we're in a frequency and vibration in which we've been able to integrate the learning, the growth, the evolution, the gifts that we've gotten out of our traumas. We've been able to make peace, to forgive where we've had judgments, to forgive ourselves, to trust ourselves more. But it doesn't mean that you're never going to be in a moment where you need a snack, you are not practicing good self-care, you are not being disciplined around making sure that your needs are being met, and you get triggered and it activates a non-healed state in the moment. So what I'd like to do in my journey forward is to give myself the grace in this place to understand that I'm on a journey. And part of that journey is a moment by moment, breath by breath, opting in to this or that. I've had some exes that were addicts, and I'm not an addict. And they say a lot of things about addiction. They say, oh, it's a disease. And then they say, oh, no, it's actually a lack of community now that we think that is causing it. And foundationally, it is a choice. It may be a very difficult choice, Might be difficult for a murderer to choose not to go murdering people, Some choices that we make in this life are difficult because maybe we want to have that escape. But it's still a choice. And we are choosing and choosing and choosing and choosing and choosing. And what will you choose now and what will you choose now? So ultimately, we have to decide what choice we're going to make. And are we going to self-deprecate? Are we going to self-loathe? Are we going to go, well, I screwed it up. I didn't follow my discipline, my choice, my desire. So now it's just ruined forever. No, Heather's not going to do that because I'm on a journey. I'm not on a destination. So just taking that pressure off on the journey ahead. Do you have pressure around your journey ahead that it's like, I've got to get healed. I've just got to get sober. Okay, well, let's stop taking everything and making it such a massive situation. And let's just take the next step. Martin Luther King said you don't have to see the entire staircase. Just take the next step. We get up the mountain one step at a time. If you want to see life from the peak, then focus on where your feet are going each day and week. Instead of like one day I'll be at the top of the mountain. Yes, yeah. If you keep moving forward, yeah, sure. But enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey there. What is it that you are aiming towards in your journey ahead? Does it include compassion? Does it include gentleness? Does it include your evolution? How much are we considering what we're doing to evolve? How am I being unevolved? What am I doing for those humans in the world that don't hold the titles I hold? How am I being a bridge builder? How am I being a medicine, an asset, a helper, a benefit to the world? How am I making a difference? How can I make more of a difference? How can I make a difference to myself? How can I be a gift to myself? How can I fill this temple with love this day? We have Egyptian and Hawaiian shamanism coming up towards the end of this year. You can go to rarebirdmedicine.com and click on the classes link to learn more about those. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Amun.